Thou shalt not judge. This phrase has become rather well known among Christians and non-Christians alike. Progressive Christians, if there is such a thing, and there's not, and atheists that are trying to justify an immoral lifestyle use this verse from the Bible to get Christians when they disagree with their actions. I have 4 questions to figure this out. 1. Does the Bible say to not judge? 2. Why do people use this specific verse? 3. Why judge at all? Number 4. Does the world practice what they preach? Question number 1. Does the Bible say not to judge? In order for us to fully understand if Christians are called to judge or not, we have to find the full context of the verse that is being quoted. This verse is from the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 37. Judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. There you have it. It looks like we're called to not judge or condemn. Or is there something else that we're missing? Well, let's break it down. In this passage, Jesus himself is speaking, and he is telling his followers that they're not in the place to judge because they have been offered grace and forgiveness through the sacrifice of him, Jesus. If you're going to use someone else's fault as an excuse to harm or abuse somebody physically or verbally, then you're not exercising the same grace and forgiveness that Jesus himself has offered you. The Pharisees are trying to trick Jesus by bringing a woman that they had caught in adultery. They said that by the law of Moses they are called to stone her. They questioned and tested him in order to have a basis to accuse him. He countered by saying, "Let him who is without sin be the first to cast a stone at her." They began to leave one by one. Then Jesus told the woman to go and sin no more. All of this can be confusing for a Christian. It seems like you're not meant to correct another, according to Jesus. But is that the case? It's funny how these verses are the popular ones among non-Christians. It seems like they've been cherry-picked in order to prove some point. They don't go looking for a verse like Matthew 7, 3-5. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when at the same time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you'll see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. This verse tells us to try and clearly see the problems within our brother's eye, only after evaluating and repenting ourselves. What I've been purposely neglecting to elaborate on is the word forgiveness. We have spent the last minute or two talking about not judging, and I forgot to speak about why we need forgiveness in the first place. If you're called to forgive like Jesus did, why is that? You don't forgive somebody for acting out the right things or saying the right things. You forgive because they've messed up. They have fallen short. So are we supposed to condemn someone for their actions? That depends. Are you yourself living a godly life? If not, get your own household in order before you try to lead somebody else's. That is what the Bible says. Question 2. Why did the ought not judge verse become so popular? From my observation, it's due to a culture of people who don't want to take responsibility. If there's no one to judge you, then there's no one that can force you to take accountability. And true Christians practice what they preach to the best of their ability. And we're not perfect, and we don't claim to be. The only one that is truly perfect is God. The world sees Christians as a threat, so if they can use their own Bible against them, then they think they can get them off their backs. Only their argument falls short when they cherry-pick certain verses, and also that the verses that they pick, they don't really explore the context of. They think that when a Christian disagrees with them, that they are attacking them, and I think the best example to give is this graphic, showing the back and forth between the church and the world. Do we hate them? Absolutely not. Hate the sin, love the sinner. Question 3. Why judge at all? First off, the Bible says the wages for sin is death. The word sin, its original use, meant to miss the mark, When you miss the mark, what does that mean for you? If a life like Jesus is the bullseye, then anything outside of the bullseye would mean that you sinned or missed. You failed. Only a life like Jesus can keep you from judgment. When you sin, you separate yourself from a perfect God, because imperfection cannot be in the presence of a perfect God. And Christians, they aren't better than others. We still do wrong things, only we are aware that it is wrong. So if you think that we're hypocritical, it's because we fall short too. But we should try and correct our wrongs and not excuse ourselves by pretending it's a feature and not a defect. Fortunately for us, our sin was paid for by our perfect God. And if we accept Him, all of a sudden our failure has disappeared and we get the same reward as the one who hit the bullseye. Now, what does that mean for life on earth? Everyone judges everything on earth. You judge without even realizing that you've judged. So when somebody tells you you ought not judge, ask them, why are they judging you for judging them? I got that one from Frank Turek. We judge situations to see if they're dangerous or if they're in our best interest, if we should have pizza or sushi for dinner, who we should date, and where we should work. The end goal with making any kind of judgment call is to hopefully try to get closer to what is good for you and others. Question 4. Does the world practice what they preach? In short, absolutely not. Why is it when, at most jobs, it's completely fine to bash on Christian faith and roll eyes when a Christian man has different views, but when someone is open about, not a hate for LGBT beliefs, but just a different view, they could potentially be fired? Is that not condemning another? When we disagree on something, they call us bigots, fascists, and evil. They burn down streets, kill innocent men that invite people with different views to have a conversation, and they celebrate it. How many judgment calls are made on the path to acting like this? Why is it that when a Christian tries to lead somebody to act within moral bounds, it's not permitted, but when somebody outside the scope of Christianity deems somebody not worth letting live, it's cheered on? Before you tell a Christian not to judge, take the plank out of your own eye. Thank you for watching the video. I know I said the word judge a lot, so sorry for that. Hopefully you don't judge me too harshly. Please like and subscribe. Later.